Thank you very much for being here. What a historic day for East Carolina University and the region. I do want to take a moment before I get started and recognize the members of the search committee, Vice Chairman of the search committee, Karen Shanahan, and members of the Board of Trustees. Thank you for being here and for everybody's involvement in the process. When I think about the next leader of East Carolina University, they could put a picture of Cecil in the dictionary because he checks the box from a private sector experience, from his experience in the legislature in Georgia to his experience in academia. And for us to be able to have him, not just for East Carolina, but for the region, it's a big day and a great day to be a pirate. With that, Cecil, over to you.
Thank you very much. It's obviously a very exciting day for the Staton family. We are so pleased to be here and to be part of the Pirate Nation. I want to make sure you know my wife, Catherine. We're about to celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary this summer, and we're also delighted to have our oldest son, Cecil, who's a financial planner in Atlanta, Georgia. Our youngest son, William, is a sophomore at DePaul University in Chicago. They're on the quarter system, so this is midterms for them, and he has a lot of exams this week, and logistically it just didn't work out for him to be here. But we're delighted to be here, and I believe this is for you guys, so I'm going to open it up for you for any questions you may have for me.
I guess I'll start. I'm Elise with WITN. First, congratulations. Welcome
Thank you.
One issue that students in the surrounding community continue to voice concerns about happened on St. Patrick's Day. According to police, Patrick Myrick was charged, accused of hitting a woman outside of a nightclub. Police said others came to her aid to defend her, beating Myrick downtown, and the violence carried over to campus, where the beating continued. Long story short, 6 people faced charges for that situation, and an officer was also dismissed for his handling of the case. A protest was planned this evening, calling for the security video to be released. ECU officials previously said it would be made public following the investigation, but the media was later told it would not be released because of an order by the DA's office. This has caused a concern for some on the subject of transparency. To my question now, how do you expect to make sure your administration is transparent?
Well, I think transparency is very important, but so is cooperating with law enforcement and an investigation that is ongoing. So we have to be sensitive to a multifaceted arrangement of issues that are relevant for this particular situation. But what I do want to say is I've sort of watched that unfold over the last several weeks, and I think obviously all of us are aware that this is something that started off campus. It sort of came over onto the campus, but I do not believe, as I look at this wonderful university, that incident is reflective of this university in any way. I don't think it's reflective of the nature of crime, and particularly violent crime on this campus, which we know is among the lowest of all the institutions in the University of North Carolina system. So we value on this campus the fact that we have a campus that is frankly free and open for our students to come and to feel safe and to learn and to discover and to debate ideas. We have something here called the East Carolina Creed, which you can find more about online if you're not familiar with it. So I think those are the things we're going to always focus on this campus. We're going to make sure that our students do have an environment where they feel safe. If we have some issues regarding policies and procedures, that's something we can certainly work on and make sure we're in better shape going forward with our training. I think all of those things are in place and have been undertaken. But I'm very pleased to be here on a campus that has that East Carolina Creed and values the things that we value on this campus. We don't want anyone to ever think that violence is the option, and we'll do our best to make sure this is a teachable moment on our campus.
Kevin O'Brien, WNCT. Your career's all been in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina system may or may not be similar, but having no experience with North Carolina, will you be able to work, and will that be a hindrance, or is that going to be a help?
Well, I think as our chairman indicated, my background has really been in three key areas across my career. Certainly I've had higher education experience on the campus level, at the system office level, in a system with 29 institutions. I've been involved in private business as a CEO of corporations. And I've also been in the political world, where I was the chief cheerleader for public higher education in the state of Georgia for my decade-long tenure in the Georgia Senate. I chaired the subcommittee of appropriations there, responsible for the $2 billion investment Georgia taxpayers make in public higher education in Georgia. I think there's a lot of correlation between those things, and frankly, what is needed today in terms of higher education leadership. ECU is a very complex organization. It has a lot of wonderful things about it. We're just very pleased to be here and to be a part of this community. And I think the range of experience that I've had throughout my career probably will be a very good foundation for providing leadership at East Carolina University.
What drew you here? What said, I've got to go here?
Well, it's a lot of different things, actually. We are very excited about the range of assets that this university has. These are challenging times for higher education, as you probably know. We faced issues like constrained public financing, funding in this day and time. We have the disruptive nature of technology that's impacting higher education today. We have changing demographics. There are fewer traditional age college students coming through the pipeline. We're living in an age of fierce competition for those students that are out there. So we really have to make sure that going forward, we're not going to do things pretty well. We're going to do everything to a very, very high standard, that excellence and innovation are going to be what we're about moving forward. That's how we're going to meet those challenges that are facing public higher education. And the thing that draws me to ECU, frankly, is I believe we have the assets here, the people, world-class faculty, a staff that's very student-focused, student-centered. We have great students. We have a wonderfully supportive community here. I think we've got all the right assets to figure out how we're going to address those challenges facing public higher education, and not just do well in that environment, but thrive and lead the way. And so I believe we're going to be able to do that with the wonderful things we found here through this search process at East Carolina University.
Has the search process given you a list of things you'd like to do, or is it too early to do?
Well, I think there are a number of things on the front end that I look forward to being involved with here, and I think they're important things for this university. One is, I hope that very soon we're going to be engaging in a significant capital campaign for this university. We want to make sure we're doing all we can at this particular time to position this university financially with a strong foundation through our fundraising efforts. And that's something I was involved in on the campus that I served recently in the North Carolina system, or in the Georgia system. I think we'll bring some of those emphases and commitments here as well. That's certainly something I'm interested in. I think ECU has an opportunity to enlarge its research footprint in the coming days. I think we want to see ECU becoming more significant in its research opportunities and the research resources that are brought to this university. And I think all of that ties in very nicely to the commitment of this university to regional transformation. It's another thing that draws me here, frankly. Again, we have the assets. We have a big responsibility here, and we've got to stay focused on that. A lot of universities today, they really find their prestige in how many students they exclude, how many they reject. I hope ECU is going to continue to be an institution that finds its success not in how many people we exclude, but how many people we include and how well they succeed. And that's going to be one of my goals here as we seek to work on across all of the range of academic programs at East Carolina University, that we really help them increase in quality and increase in stature. And I think if we do all that while we're working on that regional transformation, educating the students across North Carolina who can come here and who will come here to get a great education, at the same time, we can provide leadership and we can raise the profile of this university nationally. And that's something I really want to be involved with and engaged with in the coming years.
As a student here, I've read a lot of your background, and I know why other people believe you'd be a good person for this position. But why do you believe? Why should I put my trust in you as Chancellor? And
Well, I would just tell you a little bit about my story in order to try to get to an answer to your question. When I went to Furman University as a freshman in 1976, a long time ago, I came from a family where my father did not finish high school. He fixed shoes for a living. I have a mother who's very, very bright. I talk about her frequently. She'll be 80 years old in May the 10th, as a matter of fact. She still gets up and goes to work every day at a business she started back in 1977 with some other people. But I came from a family where I didn't really have a great tradition regarding higher education. But I went to Furman where my professors became my mentors and my friends. They encouraged me, and though I had really no great foundation for it, I was able to go from there to earn 2 master's degrees and eventually end up at the University of Oxford in England, where I worked and earned my doctoral degree. That was a long journey for a kid from Greenville, South Carolina, whose parents didn't get to go to college, and I grew up with a textile mill really in my backyard. The reason I'm here and the reason I would ask you to believe in me and to be a part of this journey with me is that I believe in the power of higher education. I believe in its power to change lives, and through changing lives, we change families, we change communities, and then we even change the world. And I really believe that, and that's the basis from which I come at this work. Students are the reason we are here. We're here to help them make sure they have opportunities to achieve their dreams, to find out fully what their talents and ambitions are, who they want to be able to achieve their goals and aspirations. And that's going to be the lens through which I always look at what we do here. I believe, frankly, that is one of the mission points of this university, that we are about the success of our students. We're about public service, and we're about regional transformation. Those are things I believe in, and I believe in the power of higher education to help achieve those things, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Dr. Staton?
Yes.
You talked earlier a little bit about some of the challenges facing higher education.
Yes.
All of those are well noted. Another issue that has been sort of swirling around the Public Facilities Privacy and Security Act, commonly known as House Bill 2. Many students, faculty have weighed in on it.
Sure.
Some saying that it is discriminatory, especially for transgender people. What's your view on that law, and how do you feel it will impact this campus?
Well,
How it will impact this campus?
sure. Well, let me be very clear. Today I was elected Chancellor-elect of East Carolina University. I was not elected to the North Carolina General Assembly. I certainly recognize the role that the members of the General Assembly, the leadership in the General Assembly, and the governor have to play. And obviously, I know many people are very concerned about this and its potential impact. All I will say to you at this point, after a few hours being in this position, is that I do not believe that changes anything about our commitments at East Carolina University. I think we're committed to having a campus where everyone, whatever their background, whoever they may be, will come to this campus and expect to be respected and expect to be able to participate fully and safely in the life of this great university. And I think that's what we're committed to, and as long as I'm here, that will be a commitment that I will embrace. And so we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening with that bill over time. But for now, I can simply say that I believe the commitments of this university, and in fact this university system, are clear with respect to the way we value our students, the faculty, the people who work here, and our students, whatever their background may be.
Holly West from the Daily Reflector.
Yes.
You recently came out in Georgia against the bill that would allow concealed carry weapons on campus. So what issues do you think that you as a chancellor should be involved in politically, and what are issues like HB2 that maybe you don't think the university should take a stand on? And also, how do you deal with those different pressures of what the university should do?
Well, in that specific situation in Georgia, frankly, our governor asked for us to let him know what we thought. He reached out to the presidents of the 29 institutions across Georgia, and he asked us to express our views about a bill that was passed through the Georgia General Assembly and is on his desk awaiting either his signature or veto. So in that light, I did respond to his request for a letter, and I expressed my bills on that view. They happen to be my views on that bill. They happen to be the views that I held when I was a member of the Georgia General Assembly. So those views are fairly well known across Georgia. But look, there are always going to be things that come through the General Assembly. I think that is something that we are always mindful of. I think my job is to be an advocate for East Carolina University, and beyond that, the university system of North Carolina. And that's what I intend to do. I think we'll always try to speak out on what we believe is in the best interests of our faculty and our staff, and more importantly, our students. And that's something I pledge to do. Well, I think leadership is an incredibly important thing, and it should be as much as possible integrated across the curriculum of a university. I know one of the things I did in Georgia, and I suspect it's very true here as well, when you go and speak to business leaders and ask them what they're looking for, or people who are looking and dealing with workforce issues in the state, you ask them what they're looking for in college graduates today. They are certainly looking for people who are critical thinkers, people who can read and write, people who can work together as a team, people who have a basic ethic of just a strong work ethic, showing up on time, knowing how to be responsible. So I think across the university, as much as we can encourage leadership and preparing our students to be leaders, that's what we should be doing. As I said in my remarks earlier to this afternoon at the Board of Governors meeting, I'm very much committed to our making sure that we are preparing people who will be leaders across this state. ECU trains the nurses and dentists and doctors who serve across this portion of the state and beyond. We prepare teachers for our schools. We prepare business leaders who are going out to improve the economy of this state. We are going to be training a competitive workforce and an educated citizenry. And that's what a university is about, and leadership is a very strong part of that. So I hope that is an emphasis we will continue.
We all know Greenville is a growing city, and as Greenville grows and the university with it, how do you look at the relationship between the city and the university and working together to kind of retain talent and do all those sorts of things that help to foster that growing, robust atmosphere?
Sure. Well, I think this harkens back to something I said earlier, and that is regional transformation. Well, that begins right here in our own backyard. Obviously, this university is incredibly important to the economy of this region of the state. It's very important to the economy of Greenville, but obviously far beyond that. Its economic impact is enormous. So I think we have to take that role seriously. We have to be very responsible about it. We have to engage the community. ECU will not be an institution that simply turns in on itself and is not engaged with the community in which it lives and where it serves. And so that is a part of our mission. It's one I take very seriously, and I am confident, based upon my experience in other places, that we'll be very engaged with the community, the region, and across this state, because this university is having a growing impact, and I see nothing but reasons to believe that's going to continue and become even more significant in the days to come.
Okay, we have time for one more question.
So recently, a lot of programs have been done in the fine arts. What are you going to do to support these programs that don't fall under the STEM category?
Well, I'll tell you a word that I like to use today rather than STEM. I like to use the word STEAM because that adds arts into that emphasis. Look, a university like ECU is going to have more than just an economic influence on a region, more than just the influence of our intellectual endeavors across our region, across the state, we also have a cultural influence. And I take that very seriously. I think that's important to the community, it's important to the region, and I'm very pleased and proud as I have surveyed this university to look across the breadth of programs that we have in the arts. And you are right, in some areas and some places sometimes that can be an easy target in difficult economic times. But I think it's something we must emphasize because, again, that's a part of the influence of this university in this community and across this region in our state. And I'm very proud of that part of East Carolina University.